What is going on, everyone? It's Nick from Breaking the Clutch. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And in today's video, I'm kind of piggybacking off of two things that I've done in the past, which was you guys seem to enjoy the leader breakdown videos, and the reason I stopped making those ones was because every time an update came out, everything that I had just told you became, not everything, but some of the things that I told you became invalid, and I wanted these things, and my initial intention was for them to be something that you could always look back on if you were a new player, or if you wanted to try out a new leader, you'd be able to reference back to them and say, okay, Nick did a leader breakdown of Atriox, and let me see how he plays out in case I want to make my switch from Atriox, or from like Johnson to Atriox, or whatever the case was. And that was my initial intention for that series. Obviously, with updates that come out, things kept changing, right? So I didn't feel it was worth it to continue the series. And to move on to a different video that I did, which was the last video I uploaded, where I ranked every single leader for this season, I think I'm going to try to combine these two things, these two ideas that I had. And let me know what you guys think down below. But I think for this season, I'm going to break down I think maybe the next 14 videos I do, and of course you guys let me know what you think, but I think I'm going to break down each leader and where they kind of fit in this meta, and certain leader abilities that I would avoid with this leader, units that I would avoid, units that I would take advantage of while using this leader, and let me know what you guys think. Of course, this series is all dependent on if you guys are enjoying it, so let me go ahead and start you guys off with Shipmaster. Now, when I make these videos, I'm not suggesting 1s, 2s, or 3s. I'm just saying in general. Obviously, things vary between 1s, 2s, and 3s, so you'll have to take that with a grain of salt. But when I'm using Shipmaster, I find that the leader abilities that he is most effective with, and these are base leader abilities, are Teleport, Extraction, Glassing Beam, Spirit Support, and Displacement. Now, these are the leader abilities that I will probably hit on the wheel before I touch anything else, or before I even double upgrade on one single thing. In the past, Teleport, upgrading it twice, was a very viable option, but they've upped it and it's about 400 resources, so I try not to do that one in the early part of the game, but in the later part of the game, I'm totally for, when I'm good with my economy, I'm totally good with upgrading Teleport. So when I say base leader abilities, I'm just saying click on it once, I'm not upgrading it, and I find these to be very viable. So again, Teleport, Extraction, Glassing Beam, Spirit Assault, and Displacement are all things that I would absolutely consider using when utilizing Shipmaster's leader abilities. Now, the ones that I'm going to completely avoid in this meta are Banished Raid, Scout Mine, Advanced Cloaking, Tactical Gateway, and Mass Cloaking. Currently, there are too many there are too many units that can spot invisible units. Wolverines are very powerful, so I'm not gonna put up some mass cloaking because they will be able to be spotted. Same thing with advanced cloaking, where I can upgrade my I can purchase shrouds for cheaper. Again, when they get spotted, they will get rinsed in this current meta. Reavers are extremely powerful. Wolverines are extremely powerful. I'm just not going to commit the money towards that, or the leader power towards that, when they're just going to get wrecked very quickly. Now, Banish Raid, obviously, it's just capture quicker units, or I'm sorry, to capture quicker power nodes. I'm not for it. I'm going to go ahead and capture them at the same rate, and I'm going to go ahead and pick up Teleport and Extraction as my first two. Scout Mine, pretty much across the board, Scout Mine's always been irrelevant for any leader. No one really picks it up. So again, I'm avoiding that. In Tactical Gateway, there's only one scenario in which you will ever, I feel like you ever need Tactical Gateway, and that's if you have an Uber unit. And even in that situation, it's very iffy. If you're at the point where you need to use an Uber unit, it's probably not too competitive of a game. It's more like a Super Turtle type of game. So again, for competitive sake, I'm not using Tactical Gateway. I'll double Teleport if I need to, and then of course Extract out. So again, that's where I stand with the leader abilities, and that gives us about a 50% leader point effectiveness for Shipmaster, again using just the base leader abilities. Moving forward, some of the other things I want to talk about is like his hero unit, for instance. Shipmaster is a bad hero unit. Any melee hero unit is just not good. I can kite them, which means I'm just gonna have them follow me, and they won't be able to do anything. I just keep backing up, and my units will keep shooting at that hero unit. Arbiter is the same way, Shipmaster, where they can't do anything unless they're up close and personal. So as long as you are moving your units or kiting and having the Arbiter or the Shipmaster drag along, that unit will drop. There's just no scenario in which a melee unit should be powerful, at least in how the game stands. So if A lot of people say, you know, I hate when you don't go Shipmaster's hero. I'm just not going to waste the money into it, because any good micro, actually I shouldn't even say that, anyone who has any ability in the game, just moving their units away from a melee unit, I'm going to lose that battle. So I'm not even going to invest the money into that. I do like the idea of using it as a scout, in the case of me letting it go cloak, and then I go and scout certain bases, maybe mid to late game. But again, I'm just not investing in it in the beginning, or I'm not even investing in it for damage sake, because I just don't think it's very good. Now, some of the units that I would like to utilize with Shipmaster in this current meta are the Locust Reaver Ball, and that I would pair those kind of things. Locusts, obviously, they've been great since day one. Their speed's been nerfed, I think, just slightly in the past, but again, they're still fantastic. Reavers just finally got the fix that they were initially supposed to get in the previous update, and the fact that the Reavers now do a significant amount of damage to air, it's just so powerful, and this combination of units is very powerful. I don't see anyone really going air in this current meta, just because of Wolverines and Reavers getting that buff. So if for whatever reason they are going air, that Locust Reaver Ball is a great play. And if they're going ground, obviously to try to counter your Locust Reaver Ball, both of them are vehicles, throw some hunters or throw some elite rangers in that mix as well, and you'll have yourself a fantastic army composition. Again, with Shipmaster, I'm avoiding air at any cost, or I should say I'm avoiding I'm avoiding shrouds, and I'm really avoiding, well, I guess no one's ever gone blisterbacks, but I'm avoiding blisterbacks, and I'm avoiding banshees. Now, in the early game, I kind of like the idea of going Ghost Engineer, because the big issue with Shipmaster up to this point is that he's got a very weak early game, but he's so fantastic in the mid to late game that's why most players would consider him a top tier leader, right? And I'm one of those people. I think Shipmaster's got fantastic abilities, and if you can just push yourself into that mid game, which I would consider about that 10-12 minute mark, 10, 12, 15 minute mark, somewhere in there, then I think Shipmaster becomes just over time a much better leader, and one that really can win you a game, as opposed to a lot of other leaders. So again, I think in the early game, if you're gonna get yourself to that mid to late game, a couple things I would do: Ghost Engineer, get yourself into that mix, or Quick Tech as quickly as you possibly can. Quick Teching in ones is a lot more difficult to do than in 2s and 3s, because you're really, it's dependent on what the opponent is using as a leader and what their strategies are. If you get a good scout off real quick and you see that they aren't going anything that's gonna push you that quickly, or if you're playing a bigger map, you have the ability to Quick Tech, and I would recommend doing that. You have to get that scout, of course, for any situation. Scout out the opponent and then make this decision. If they're going to push you with, and again, if I'm Shipmaster and they're going to push me with a bunch of Marines or Flamers, then guess what I'm going to do? Maybe get that Ghost Engineer out, because Ghosts are going to do fine against Marines if you've got the Engineers and you hit the Y button with the Engineers and it reduces damage by 40%, and then maybe throw up a couple turrets here and there. I think this is a great play to slow down that early game for your opponent, and to also let you live into that mid game where the Shipmaster really starts to thrive. Again, and again, if you're gonna try to Quick Tech, you have to scout, and you have to make sure that the map's big enough where your opponent can't just simply walk over within the first couple minutes. And then you also have to make sure that they aren't going to utilize certain things on the map, like a teleport. Because if you look at this map in particular, there is teleport nodes. My opponent could have just taken this army that you're looking at right here, and he could have teleported it across the map, and he could have done it much quicker. These are things that make me cautious about quick teching. I was able to pull it off in this particular game, but again, you have to take all of this into account if you're going to utilize quick tech. And again, as a secondary option, Ghost Engineer I think is a great play with some turrets at your base if you're going to play defensive. All right, in the mid to late game, again, I like the Locust Reaver Ball. The Ranger Hunter are still very viable. So again, I really do enjoy Shipmaster. I think he's a top tier leader. I put him in that top two. That top tier of 2, and on the cusp of 1, depending on if the leader is in the right hands. I think in my hands he's tier 2. I'm just not at the point of those champ players just yet. Hopefully during the season be able to grind it out and be able to give you guys a little bit more information on what the top players are doing. Hopefully, but we shall see. I think that's going to do it. I think I've mentioned quite a bit of things that I wanted to cover in this video, and let me know if you guys want to see more like this. Again, I'm thinking about going over every leader. If you guys want, I can compile a couple leaders into one video, so you guys don't have to wait so long for these videos to come out. Since seasons only last a month, this would take about half a month, 2 weeks to come out. But if you want to see it much quicker, let me know. I can start compiling a couple of these leaders together and give you, again, an idea of some of the leader abilities I would try to use in this meta. You know, what are their unique units offer, and then also what am I going to go with these guys. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and if you want to see more like this, let me know. See you guys tomorrow.